Hello and welcome to another episode, the 72nd of its kind of the Solo Gamer Podcast. My name is Ian. I am, of course, joined by my two wonderful co-hosts, two of my best friends in the world, Kyle, Taylor. Welcome, gentlemen. We're back. We took a week off, but we're back, guys.
Missed you guys.
I know. It always feels like it's been a long time, even though it's been technically 1 week, you know?
I know.
Yeah.
But there's something about that length of time that always feels longer than you'd think it would be, so.
It was an incredibly stressful week for Ian and I.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it was. And not just, I know you're talking about the Mariners, and obviously, that's definitely was. It's strange not being used to having a playoff baseball team. Like, that was a lot of time invested in October that I wasn't used to having. It's like 4 times a week. It's like every other day You've got to do this. All of your time just disappears. It's great. It's not a complaint. It was just definitely, it was a weird time. There's like stuff going on at work for me right now, and just like it's been a weird few weeks. I've been struggling to find. I like my rhythm. I like my routine for sure. Obviously it's fun to change things up, and you go on trips or whatever, and all that's great. But
sure,
I feel like I'm better. I'm healthier, and I don't even mean necessarily like food wise, though. That's part of it. I'm just like I'm like mentally healthier and physically healthier when I can kind of like break everything down and things go to plan, which I know is not something that you can really do because life is always going to kick that around. But I feel like the last several years I've done a pretty good job of being able to build routines and, go to the gym and play video games and cook dinner, work stuff, like walk the dogs, all these things. And for some reason, maybe baseball is part of it, but I just feel like these last few weeks, I got sick. I went on vacation. Work got a little crazy. Like, all these things are just happening. I haven't played video games in over a week for the first time in probably like, I don't know, other than when I went to Hawaii, I guess. Those are the first 2 times, maybe like a year or so. It's something I'm used to doing all the time. So it's just been a really weird, I just feel very anxious. So I was really excited to do this today because it was like that. We didn't do this last week. It was just it's just been a weird time. And yeah, with the Mariners losing in really tragic fashion, it's like that just kind of puts a rain cloud over your day. Just sports in general, if they don't go well, it just makes things weird. And it's just been odd. And the whole world is just, there's so much fucking, it's just like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm so fucking lucky to be able to say that I can kind of quiet the noise and keep the world out. Like, the fact that I get to do that is insane. But man, I've been having a harder time doing that lately. So I don't know about you guys. I just feel like nothing is going the way that I envision every single week. Not necessarily badly, but just generally. And so I'm craving some routine. And so what am I doing? I'm fucking driving to Seattle this weekend.
There you go.
Nice.
So I can't buy a break right now, but it's all right. I feel like this time of year, right? You get through, fall. If you're a sports person, there's playoffs and football and baseball playoffs, but also like once you get into November, it's just like the holidays, which are all about being home anyways.
Yeah.
Yep.
You take that last little bit of PTO and you just get to, I don't know, I feel like I finally start to settle. It gets dark early. You see you're home, and I can just start playing games and watching shows. And so I'm very much looking forward to kind of building a new routine for the next like 6 months that includes everything I need to feel a little bit less, restless and anxious. But
yeah.
So you guys, what's been going on with you, Taylor? How's your week? How's your week been, or 2 weeks, I guess, since we've gotten to talk to you last? Catch us up, man.
Yeah, actually, what you were saying kind of hit home for me, honestly, because I kind of find myself in the process of trying to establish my new routine. It was like, as of like a couple weeks ago, I was kind of working a standard 9 to 5, and I went into an office every day. And so while I hated that job and was like completely mentally bogged down with what was going on there. Um, there was kind of a natural routine that was born out of that, and I think it helped me a lot. And so now that I'm working remotely, I'm doing great. Like honestly, like mentally, like things have been like amazing. But I have to establish a little bit more of a routine here, like at home in this new environment. So I think that there's kind of some growing pains about doing that again. So I think that's part of like what's kind of had me in a weird headspace lately. And not only that, but I was also sick too last week randomly. Like I had this weird like ears, nose, throat kind of issue where I wasn't really like didn't feel sick except for like one day where I just slept like the whole day front to back basically. But just it felt like generally just like disgusting and like just had a bunch of congestion, and so that finally cleared itself up. And so yeah, it was an interesting week, but I missed talking to you guys, so I'm excited
I
to be
know.
back.
You know, before I hear from you, Kyle, just one thing that you mentioned, Taylor, is that I find it's the case for me. Kind of hearing you talk about establishing new routines that are good for your at home situation. I feel like the hardest thing is like being patient and friendly with yourself with that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Like for me, I have all these goals about what I want to do for my like physical and mental health. It's like not just like, oh, lose weight or whatever, but just be more disciplined in my life in
Yeah.
general. And I feel like I've just beat the shit out of myself. I haven't been going to the gym since I got back from Hawaii, really. And I've just been like slaughtering myself over this. It's like, oh, when am I ever going to start again? And it's like you try and take everything on at once,
Yeah.
and it's too much. You can't take everything on at once. You have to do one thing at a time. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself some grace, and you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out, right? It's like we all
Absolutely.
will. So I'm working on it. You're working on it. Kyle, welcome in, man. 2 weeks
Thank
ago
you.
we had a show, and no one's heard from you since. None of us have. No. So same thing, man.
That's because I didn't exist anymore.
Yeah, right. As soon as we stop recording, Kyle disappears. He's actually an AI.
Oh gosh.
What's up, man?
Oh man. Like I said, stressful week. Won't talk about sports too much, but yeah, Mariners had me pretty booked for that entire week. And for better or for worse, you know, a lot of really high highs and then obviously really low lows. So, but that was a great experience because, like you're saying, we've never really had that issue in October where we're like juggling two sports, and it was kind of a good problem to have in a way, where it's like, you know, I never get to root for the Mariners in October. This is kind of cool, you know. So, but yeah, game wise, I've actually caught up a little bit. You know, I've been streaming Alien Isolation, getting a couple hours here and there. That's been a fun experience.
Watching.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to talking about it because I think you guys will be surprised about how I actually feel about this game now, and how it's kind of. I don't want to go too far into it, but it's
hard not to.
It's impacting my perspective on horror games. So
interesting. Okay.
And then I played a little bit of Total War, Warhammer 3. I don't know if Eric will be listening, but on his birthday, we started playing Warhammer, and he showed me a couple of new mods to mess around with that introduce a ton of new units. Some of you might already know, but the radius mods, they add in so many, you know, different new things and like units to utilize and different like perks that you can do, like with the when you max out your skills with the double points, skill points, you can they give you like extra things to actually just dump those points into that are a little bit more impactful than just adding, you know, HP points. Yeah, stuff like that. So it's been fun. I've been playing a little bit of a Total War campaign on the side, especially when work slows down. That's been kind of the game that I'm doing in the background. And Yeah, I mean, speaking of routine, I think I've finally really started to nail down a really solid routine with going to the gym and actually figured out how to do it in the morning now, so that I can start doing more things after work. That's one thing that I noticed. I was like, I'm really enjoying playing Alien Isolation, but I'm realizing like I've got to buckle down and really hammer this out if we're going to try to do.
Dude, I haven't played. I don't know that I'm going to make it either. Maybe, but I don't know. That would be by the end of next week.
Yeah, well, right. We got the weekend coming
up.
Oh yeah,
because I'm not even going to be here this weekend.
Well, we would have to
record
it next week.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will not be done with that game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we won't worry about that. I just thought maybe we would try to do the Halloween.
I know. I want to. I really want to do it. And if we can do it somewhere close in there, I'll try and really hammer down as much as I can over the next, I'll make next week. I will really, really get on it. Because now, sports-wise, all we have is Sunday. So for the most part. So we can... Yeah, I'll have the weekend. I'll figure it out. I'm not going to be here this weekend. I'm leaving Friday. I'm coming back either Saturday evening or Sunday morning. I'm not sure which. So, yeah, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to. You guys are probably ahead of me now. I would bet you've probably gotten ahead of me.
5 hours in, I would say.
I'm somewhere in there.
I think I don't know. The sense I get is I might be like halfway.
Okay.
I might have just got to the halfway
apparently
point.
to Google, it's like 18 to 20 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, it's pretty long. It's 18 to 20.
I think Steam says I have 15 hours in it, but I'm also moving very, very slowly.
Yeah.
I found it to be a really, really difficult game, actually.
I'm playing it on hard.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, I'm playing it on normal, and it's been difficult, man. I've even kind of debated dropping the difficulty a little bit, because I'm getting slaughtered out there.
Are you?
And I'm moving.
God,
I'm having
terrified.
to move very slowly between locations too. So 15 hours. I feel like I just hit the halfway point, and I'm moving at a snail's pace to get to the next objective. So
I'm curious. I'm looking forward to talking about it, because in the show, because I feel like the harder difficulty has actually had me dying a little less because I'm so overly cautious, but that's going to make my playtime even longer. I've only died a couple of times, and it's all been right in this one area that I'm in right now. And it's just sort of trial and error. I was talking to Kyle about this when he was streaming it. It's you're going to die, and it's teaching you what to do and what not to do. And you're going to have to you kind of have to die. It's not one of those things where it's oh, I'm doing this wrong. It's no, you're doing it. If you're dying, you're doing it right. It's kind of like Dark Souls or something. It's, it's tough. It's just difficult to nail that alien down too. It's very unpredictable, and it's not always clear what is making it notice you or whatnot. But eventually you kind of start to pick it up, and you're like, okay, now I kind of know what to do and how to avoid some of these situations I keep finding myself in. And yeah, it's not easy, and it's slow. I mean, it's like playing Skyrim in sneak mode the entire time.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those things where you kind of have to, like you were saying, the reason why it's important to die is because you need to kind of push those boundaries.
Yes.
In order to figure out what this AI is trying to do to you, you know? Which is totally such a fun experiment of oh, okay. I know what I did wrong there. I know what it's, looking for, or what it noticed, or, whatever the case may be. And that's why I died. And the only way you figure that out is you just kind of put yourself out there and risk it.
Take a risk. Yep. And it just sucks because sometimes the save points are way.
Yeah.
Dying means so much sometimes. Other times it doesn't. Yeah. It's kind of inconsistent.
My last stream, I was I stopped earlier than I thought I would. I was I probably got another half hour to an hour, and then I had to backtrack at least a good 15 to 20 minutes because of where I died, and I was nah, we're gonna stop here. I'm not doing that again.
I don't want to do that. Yeah, that's what happened the last time I played too. And then not thinking that it would be 8 days or whatever. I think last Sunday, so not a couple days ago, but the week before that, was the last time I played Alien. And it's the last time I played any game at all. So, kind of weird. Very weird. Yeah. It's been a really weird couple of weeks. So things feel off, but I'm excited to start stacking the pieces up again and getting back at it. So this week, just because of everything that's been going on, we did not have a specific topic. I know we want to, probably talk a little bit more about what we've been playing. There's been a lot happening in the industry, especially with Xbox. It's very Xbox heavy news world right now. But there's been some other stuff happening as well. And I just thought it would be kind of fun to just sort of touch base. We try to avoid too much of the news. As everyone knows, we said before, it's not always our first thing. But I like to kind of let things happen, let some topics build, let some air out of the balloon, if so to speak, and then kind of review a lot of it once you've had some time to see multiple people's opinions and read articles, and just kind of, I feel like I'm not a big reactionary guy. I like to kind of think about stuff before I get into it. So it's fun to have a news week and just kind of talk about what's going on in the industry that we care so much about and that we pay so much attention to. So I figured we'd touch on some of that. Taylor, what are some of the things you've been playing? I got my show sheet here. I see obviously Alien, which we kind of covered.
Yeah.
Lies of P, you finished it.
Yeah, finished Lies of P last week, I want to say. Really just that was kind of like at the inception of like starting my new job. Like I'm working remotely, and so for that first like 2 weeks or so, it was a lot of like training and kind of like getting to know people. So there wasn't actual like work to do. Right. So I would like finish my day technically like 3 hours in, and then like have the rest of the day to just kind of do whatever I want, which was nice. So I hammered out Lies of P in like 2 weeks or something like that. It was kind of crazy, like how quickly I like sped through it. And it's a pretty difficult game in its own right too. So, finished Lies of P. This one had been kind of on my backlog for a while. I had just heard so many really good things that people have said about it over the last couple of years since it's been out. Like I mentioned, I played it when it first went on Game Pass in like 2023 or something like that, and really liked what I played of it, but I think other things had maybe come out at the time and I just wasn't focusing on it. So I had to drop it, and then they were giving it away for free on PSN. So I got the free copy of that and started playing it on PlayStation. And it's just a really, really well-made game. I think all the things that people have said about it being the best Souls-like game that's not made by From Software are like absolutely true. I think that it's just a really well-made game, and I think a lot of the abilities that you get differentiate themselves enough from something like Dark Souls to where you can sort of tell where the inspirations come from for this game. Like obviously Dark Souls proper is definitely a huge influence on it, but Bloodborne as well, I think, is also a huge influence on that game, as well as a couple of other video games throughout the years. I think have like all played a part in making this game, and Neo is the developer, did a really, really good job with it. So the hook that I was really interested in getting into was, a lot of people were saying like how good the ending was. Like it kind of like sets up the next game in a really, really cool way. And I definitely agree with that. I think that they set up the next game very, very well. And I'm really, really excited for the second one. So it's a really, really good game. I think if anybody out there did snag it on the PSN store, I think it's a great game to play. Just what I needed. I feel like I was in a pocket where I was playing a lot of first person stuff, with Alien and a couple of other things. And so Bioshock, yeah. So I just needed like a good like third person action game that I could kind of really sink my teeth into, and it was the perfect like supplement. So great game. I know in our Discord, Craig had kind of posed a question to everybody, asking everybody what their like game of the year was, whether or not it came out this year or previous years, and it's definitely my favorite game I've played this year for sure. So
Dude, that question kind of depressed me.
Yeah, I know. Which I'm right there with you, dude. I have not played a whole lot from this year. I really would want to catch up, but
well, and he said even if it was new to you, right? So it could have been something you haven't played yet that came out 5 years ago. But I just looked at my list because I have been keeping track of what I've played and what I've beaten when I've beaten it, because
same.
I feel like if I don't, it all just I'm like, oh, I don't know. You know,
right.
I know I played Assassin's Creed. Was that this year? My brain is just not capable of tracking all of that. So it's been really helpful to be like, oh yes, okay, I played this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
I've only beaten 5 games this year.
Which
that's so crazy.
So I'm right there.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
I had a goal in my I use this app that I think I've told you about, Ian, before, called Game Track on Apple, which is a really cool app. If anybody has iPhone or Apple, like, definitely get it because it's really, really well made, I think. But they have like a little challenge that you can set for yourself, and I did like a backlog challenge where I was challenging myself to play and beat 12 games from my backlog, so just like one game a month essentially. And obviously falling very short of that goal, but still four games in the year I was excited about, because I think the last couple of years I've gotten like 2 or 3. So
hey.
So yeah. Anyway, tangent.
I can hear the pitter patter of the little ones.
Oh, the dogs are pumped.
Yeah,
dude. Mom gets home, it's like, oh god.
Lies of P sequel in development.
Did you, Taylor? Sequel in development, and I heard the DLC was incredible. Have you gotten a chance to play that at all?
Ooh.
No, I was thinking about jumping into
it. Prequel, I think.
Oh,
I think from what I read, it sounded like it was like in the middle of the story. Like,
it's
I think
saying sequel.
Oh, it's no. I'm saying the DLC.
Oh, you mean the DLC? Oh, sorry.
The DLC. Yeah. Okay, cool. I heard good things about the DLC, so I was curious if that was part of it, or if you played that, or.
No, I was thinking about it, but I think I got to a good point where I like finished it up, and I was like, I don't know if I kind of want to move on to the next thing, and also focus in on Isolation. So
sure,
I think I already like uninstalled it. So
dang.
To that point though, Taylor, about the backlog thing. So you said you'd beaten 4 and you were trying to do 12. That's kind of what I was trying to do. I have a couple of things that are like that I'll bring up, that just out of curiosity. So did you? Is it just because time just got away from you? There's a lot going on. You had to move and stuff. It's just like, what do you think it is about that? Because I feel like I've only beaten 5 games, but it's also kind of about what games you're talking about, right? Because one of those games for me was Assassin's Creed Shadows. And that's a big ass game. It took forever,
for sure.
You know, and I liked it enough to stick with it and see it to the end. There's a lot of stuff I didn't even touch, but are the games that you have beaten, are a couple of them pretty large, or
I don't know. I think
it's been weird. Like, you're on, you're off, you're on, you're off.
I think this year for me has been a lot of changes around like my schedule. Like, I think with like starting off the first half of the year in my other job, it took up a lot of time. And so there was just a lot of like, not only just the 8 hours that I'm there, or, the 9 hours that I'm there technically, but also like the 10 or 11 hours like outside of that where I was kind of doing some other things. It was difficult to kind of make time, but usually I set the same goal for myself every year that I think it's usually pretty like accomplishable to do like 1 game a month essentially. Regardless of like how big the game tends to be, I can usually kind of move through it pretty quickly. I don't know. Like, so I have Expedition 33, I have Silent Hill 2, BioShock Remastered, and Lies of P. So I would say all of those are fairly short. I think with the longest one being Lies of P, I think that took me like 30 hours to beat, I want to say.
It's not too bad.
Yeah. Lies of P maybe almost got there. I think it was probably at like the 20-hour mark.
I found myself needing to I'm at a point now where I'm needing to specifically dedicate time ahead of time, and being like, these, 2 to 8 hours or whatever is like, that's the time I know for sure I'm going to sit down and play games.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is lately, but I don't know. I feel like I'm just more in a spot where I have to schedule it. Otherwise, I'm probably not gonna do it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I have only beaten. Let's see here. So, Al and I played through The Last of Us Part 2, but we finished that before the show came out. When did season 2 of the show come out?
I want to say like April.
So that was this year?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, so make it 6 games then, because I finished Last of Us Part 2, Warhammer 40K, Space Marine Remastered, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Halo 5, Halo 4 as well, Halo 4, Halo 5, BioShock, and Mafia: The Old Country. So a couple shorter ones in there, but that's all I've done this year. So some of those are pretty short, but yeah, I mean, I every year for the last couple of years, I've always said I'm gonna make this the year of PlayStation, because I'm fucking behind. I haven't finished God of War, the newest one, Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I still haven't played Horizon Forbidden West. And so those two are big ones for me. And now Ghost of Yotei is out, and I haven't touched that. So it's like I feel like I really want to jump back into PlayStation, but it's just like I don't know. It's just like when am I? I don't have time to play Horizon. It's so huge. But and God of War feels like it's long, and I wasn't really into it, but it's like I feel like I just owe it to just get through it, and maybe I'll like it more by the end. I don't know. So I have been having a hard time making a decision as to what to play next. And so in my indecision, I end up just playing like something short, something easy, something long-term, like a MMO or whatever, or a strategy game, or whatever it is, something that feels like if I don't play this again for a month, I'm not going to forget everything.
Right.
A good example is like Chronos. I started that and I got an hour and a half into it, 2 hours into it. I was like, okay, it's starting to get me. But now it's been like 3 or 4 weeks. It's like, I don't even fucking remember this game.
Yeah.
You know? Am I going to start over again? Like, I don't know. So it's just like, it's like that. You got to get that kind of momentum and just have the time set aside. And, there's other stuff going on in life that's more important sometimes. So it's just always a difficult challenge. But it's really nice when you do figure that out. Trying to figure out when to go to bed, not staying up too late, trying to get up, all that stuff. It's just like you figure it out. I think this winter will be good. Fall and winter, I'll make some headway for sure. I'm trying to get
get nice and cozy.
Couple games down. Yeah, get the dogs under the blankets as they do, little burrow guys, and play some games and watch some shows and movies and have a good time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Cool. Well, let's. Kyle, did you cover everything that you've been playing? You talked about Warhammer 3.
Well, yeah, dude, but you missed a big part that happened.
We discussed Alien a little bit
in your life.
What are you talking about?
Let's talk about your badass albums that just dropped.
Yeah. Hell yeah,
come on, man.
Yeah, man. We the band that I'm in dropped our first ever full length album. It's doing pretty well, which is cool. Yeah. And when I say that, I don't mean like we're selling albums. I just mean that there's quite a few people listening to it. Yeah. It's fun.
It's a great album.
It's thanks, man. It's weird. It's kind of like some of the things we've been talking about with the way time plays tricks on your brain, and the way it's like I don't even know what games I played this year, right? Which is nice to track. With music, it's funny how that works because we spent so long writing all that stuff, and it's just sort of something you're doing. It's such a long time. It doesn't feel like took 2.5 years because we've been dropping some singles and and working on it. Will, our guitarist, is always writing this and that. He's like, oh yeah, I got this song idea, I got this song, so I write some stuff. And it's just like they go to Seattle once every month, 4 to 6 weeks or whatever, and we record and just have a good time, hang out. It's like it never feels like, oh, we're in the middle of this laborious project of art. Like, it's just like, oh, this is what we do. This is fun. You're not even really thinking about the end goal necessarily. And then all of a sudden you start talking about the release and all that. And there's 11 tracks on there, and we had released 6 of them. So there's 5 tracks on there that no one had ever heard. It's just really cool. It's very gratifying. It's there. You can see it. You can listen to it. It's strange. It just feels like, oh yeah, there's all of this. It's all just listed right here. There's 11 of them, and that's it. And it's like, man, there's a lot of driving and sleeping on an air mattress and hanging out with those guys and doing all the, just doing all this stuff and see. It's weird. It's weird to sort of see this condensed thing that's represented a really long time.
Yeah.
And so it's been cool. It's been a lot of fun to see everybody get a chance to hear it, and it's
great.
A lot of downloads and saves.
It's really great. I highly recommend everybody listening to it. That's not even. I'm not even saying that just as your friend. No, it's really good. It's something that I've been that album I've been listening to a lot, especially at the gym. Those parts where you're getting pretty heavy and screaming put me through a lot of heavy lifting. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's cool because it's not super heavy, but it does have a few moments that. But I mean, it's funny you mentioned that because Will and I have been talking. Like, I think the next one we should
please do
twist up the heaviness a little bit. Yeah, I think we want to go a little darker, a little heavier.
We're gonna put this up to 11 or.
Yeah. Well, no, probably not 11. I mean, if we're talking about a 1 to 10 scale, 11 would be like, I don't even, not something I'd be interested in doing or physically capable of. Yeah. Probably not going to go that far, but I would say on a heavy scale, that album of ours is like a 3 or a 4. It's not very heavy. It's got some chunky guitar parts, but for the most part, it's, mostly all melodic vocals, and we have a keyboard player who writes a lot of really good stuff, a lot of good synth and stuff. So they're all big Radiohead fans. We're all big Deftones fans. You can definitely hear a lot of that in there. Excuse me. So, but yeah, we've definitely been discussing. There's already some early demos that I'm hearing. That's like, okay, cool. That'll be fun. This will be cool because I'm looking forward to that. So.
Dang,
it never ends.
The next project.
Yeah, man. But that's the thing. It's like it's not like you're like, okay, here we go. Now we're beginning writing album 2. It's not like that. It's just sort of like you release this, and Will is always just playing on his guitar. It's like his number one hobby and his passion, and he has riffs for days. And he's like, oh, what do you think of this one? Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, you want to come over and we can work on it? Oh, yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
And it's like, then you have a song in a few months, right? And it's like, oh, this is pretty cool. We should drop this. And then you drop it. And then you just kind of keep doing that. And all of a sudden you've written so many songs, they're all stacked up and you're starting to work on them. Like, shit, we got an album here. We should, maybe we should start to like put all this together and make it sound the same. And that's all him, man. All that sound engineering. And he's taught himself. It's insane, dude.
Yeah, it's great.
I always like try to remind him like, this is all you. Like, I know I show up and I sing on it or whatever. Cool. Like I write maybe 60% of the lyrics or whatnot, but I come over. This guy just probably spent 1,000 hours making that album.
Wow, that's
like
awesome.
just sitting there, just making sure everything sounds good, and just like the EQ and the just like the constant tinkering and changing, and it's insane the amount of patience and tedium involved there in making it really sound good and not like just processed regurgitated garbage. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
100%. I don't doubt it. Shout out to Will.
And we make no money. We make zero zip money. So.
Yet.
Yeah, well, it's not the goal.
Well, congratulations.
It's really
man.
hard.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And I'm going to Seattle, and we're doing more this weekend. So there you go.
On that note, we'll post the donation box after this.
Yeah. There you go. The band Patreon. Yeah, band camp. No. If anyone is interested in supporting it, just seriously, just listen to it. Just listen to it on Spotify. Like, that our numbers go crazy, and we have our little group chat, and we're just like, yo, look how many downloads we have. You know, we're just like, it's fun. I mean, that's the only reason we even put anything up there, because people seem to like it, so it's pretty cool. Cool. Well, thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Let's jump into some of this stuff. I'm gonna save all the Xbox stuff for. We'll just kind of like tackle all that one thing at a time. So before we jump into the Xbox stuff, we have this other story. And then, was there anything that you guys seen or heard of or wanted to bring up that I didn't have on our list at all? Just to make
honestly,
sure.
Like you were saying, PlayStation's been pretty quiet.
Yeah, they're so quiet.
Yeah,
because they're not idiots.
Yeah. It seems like every 2 weeks there's some major Xbox story dropping.
Every time. Every time.
It's amazing how poorly even a great thing, like, it doesn't matter how good something is. If people don't understand what's going on, it's like none of it matters. There's so many things about what Xbox is going to be or could be or should be. It's like, this is such a fucking layup. What are you doing? We'll get into it. But this one gets nuts for me. The EA buyout. I think this is one of the biggest stories in gaming, but it's just another example of some pretty dark times that we're living in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So EA has been bought out to become a private company, so they'll no longer be sold on the open market. They're not going to have shares anymore. Mm. The stockholders will receive $210 per share as part of the buyout. And the two primary buyers are, one is the Saudi crown, the Saudi Arabian government. They have a sovereign wealth fund, which you may have heard of some of these things. Like they started, what's the name of the golf league that they started? Live. Yep, the Live Tour. I'm not a golf guy, but just from a societal point of view, this is a not to get too political with you guys, don't worry, we won't be getting into any crazy political stuff, but this is a nation, a government that is actively and openly involved in crimes against humanity, humanitarian crimes, torture, executions, public executions, murdering journalists, disappearing people. They have a state prison that is basically apparently is a house of horrors. This is an evil government, not the people of Saudi Arabia. Obviously, there's no such thing as one group of people all being evil. There's plenty of wonderful people, I'm sure, that live in Saudi Arabia who are victims of this government. But it's just tough. I mean, it's so hard to spend money with any kind of conscience, like at all. I feel like every single company out there now is just like, oh, did you know these guys were Nazis? They're like, God damn it. Like, I wanted to buy this. It's like, it's so bad. Like everything. Oh, did you know, like just like every time I turn around, like, oh, that service you love? Well, guess what? You're like, man. This sucks. You just get to the point where it's like, well, what do you want me to do? Everywhere I turn, there's some evil person that's buying.
Just not have anything ever.
Yeah. So it's difficult. So that's, and then the other buyer is Jared Kushner, which is Donald Trump's son-in-law. So it's just like, wow, what a marriage made in heaven here. Right. And there's a lot of questions about what this is going to do to EA. Specifically, one of the things that people are publicly executed for in Saudi Arabia is being gay. And the reason that is relevant to me here is that a company like BioWare for as long as they have been around, as long as we've been playing their games, they've had characters, they've had gay characters, and these story based games that are very emotionally, mature, and they take on difficult subject matters. I just feel like that's all gone. That's all gone. There is I can't imagine that these people are plugging their money into this company are going to be so tolerant of anything that doesn't just print money. So I just fear for the future, the creative future of EA. It feels like a lot of companies there are probably just going to go away, and this is just going to be a Madden Battlefield soccer factory forever. What do you think, Taylor?
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I think that this purchase was probably made with some of those, heavy hitting franchises in mind, your FIFAs, your Maddens, your Battlefield, I think even is probably a little bit lower on the priority list for them, despite this new one being such a success. But yeah, I mean, what is there to say about it? I mean, it definitely sucks. I feel like it also comes at a really bad time for EA when I felt like they were almost somewhat kind of turning a new leaf as well. Um, I think what was it? They had won like worst company or something like a decade running back to back to back like years. Um, they were on a Chicago Bulls like run for winning like worst company in like the early 2000s or 2010s. So, but I feel like they're last several years or so, like maybe 5 to 6 years, we've seen them do a lot of initiatives on games to at least put some feelers out there to make some original stuff. I feel like some of their Star Wars games, at least a little bit, have turned a new leaf. Battlefront 2, we talk about kind of the rags to riches story on that one, and the revisionism with that game coming out to awful reviews and then having it be like this huge success later on and seeing this massive second wind. So it just sucks, man. I feel like it was a really bad time for them to be bought out by a really horrible regime. But, also at the same time, like this is capitalism without regulation on full display, where, anything is for a price. And so whoever has enough money to be able to buy it can do whatever they want with it. And I think that that's kind of what this, these entities that have purchased EA are going to do with it. And I think you're right too. I think a lot of these smaller developers, BioWare, I think we can probably almost safe to say that they probably will not exist within a year or two. People are already predicting there are massive layoffs for a lot of these companies on the horizon to cut costs and funnel a lot of the development time into some of those heavy hitting projects that are just going to make them money. And especially too, I mean, you mentioned like the live golf thing going on as well. It seems like a lot of that wealth fund has been dedicated to sporting and sporting events too. I think like they also own a massive portion of like the WWE and the UFC as well. So I think that they have a lot of sports on the mind, and that's probably one of the chief reasons why this purchase was made. But I'm hoping that maybe there might be um, something that comes out of it, like maybe they sell off BioWare to somebody else, or maybe that they can somehow like disassociate themselves or buy themselves out. I know that I don't exactly remember the particulars around it, but I think wasn't Bungie kind of responsible for that? Like they kind of bought themselves out of being like an exclusive under Activision at some point in time.
Yeah.
So maybe there's the possibility that something like that happens. I don't know. It's above my pay grade in terms of like what's possible there, but I think that could be a possible outcome for them. But I think the most likely thing, unfortunately, is that they just cease to exist. So um, that's really the unfortunate part about it.
Yeah. It's tough. It's very much it's just so transparently corrupt too. It's like, so if anyone is curious about where we're getting some of this information, I just had an article from AP here, AP News. There's some other articles by Reuters and a few others that I found, but I just went with the AP. But it's just like, it just feels like there's not, there are agencies that exist within the U.S. government that are supposed to prevent foreign nations, especially those that might be somewhat opposed to the U.S. or that may benefit from kind of inching in on U.S. companies in a negative way, that are supposed to kind of look at this stuff and say, hey, this is not good for all of our citizens that are working for this company. This is not this is not allowed. Like, you can't just, Saudi company and the Chinese, all these people coming in buying our stuff and like kind of sort of like rooting themselves into U.S. money and economy and society. It's very interesting because the live golf tournaments pay the president to have their tournaments on some of his golf courses too. So it's all this like gross, like connected money in hand, greasy palm kind of shit, where it's just like, yeah, sure, whatever, man, just keep it coming. It's just like, it's so obvious. Like, it's not even a conspiracy theory. It's like, no, that's what they're doing, and no one gives a fuck. It's just sad. Kyle, what do you think about all this? How do you feel like this could impact the, obviously, gaming from EA and just in general? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's tough to say. It's like, obvious. It's very obvious it's going to be more profit driven at this point. So, like you're saying, BioWare's probably gone, and in some ways, they kind of dug their own hole already. So this transfer of power is definitely, they're probably going to be viewed as a liability initially. So that part's unfortunate. Hopefully they're able to pick up the pieces elsewhere. Although I wouldn't be super disappointed about future Mass Effect game not happening, because to me it was kind of weird in the first place. But I wanted to research some things because I know that it is a big problem, but when I'm looking at this list of investments from the what is considered Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, PIF for short, they are the largest holding stockholder of Uber, by the way. Lucid Group, which manufactures electronic motors.
They're all over. That's what I'm talking about, man.
They're in EA, they're in Amazon, they're in Home Depot, by the way, in case you're deciding to buy any wood. And then obviously we mentioned the PGA Tour, Live Nation, NVIDIA. I mean, like, at this point, it's like, it sucks for sure. But we're getting close to the point to where basically anything you touch or consume is going to have some sort of investment from some sort of very corrupt and powerful regime. So,
there's nothing you can do.
What do you do? If anything, though, I will say I already didn't like a lot of the games coming out from EA.
I know, right?
Adds a little extra, like, okay, now you're going to have to come out with a pretty damn good game at this point for me to ever decide to buy Madden or a Call of Duty. Or, sorry, not Call of Duty, but Battlefield.
The PIF, they're invested in Nintendo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this certainly did not bring this up thinking like, oh, this is a whole new thing that we're all screwed. Like, it's already happening. It's already happened. It's just interesting to see it kind of creep into every facet of our lives, and so openly. It feels like this stuff used to be kind of like, it's not like it wasn't happening. But now it's just so, it's like we just have to, all of us just sort of have to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's like,
what is that old adage go, right? There's no ethical consumption under capitalism. So.
None. There's nothing you can do. All of it is just, it's so crazy, man. It's just, I'm very curious to see what, is there any selfish silver lining in here at all from the point of view of like, hey, EA was effing this up and they have all this money now. Like, do we feel like it's going to improve anything? I wouldn't think so.
I wonder if it has any effect on, specifically, I'm thinking Madden. Does NFL have now maybe a bad taste in its mouth with renewing its contract with EA? Do they consider that? Or are
the
they...
NFL would be like, hey, Saudis, do you guys want to give us some money?
Yeah,
probably more likely.
I know. That's what I think is more likely.
We'll take that sweet licensing fee.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't even be surprised if the NFL played a game in the UAE or something in the next 20 years.
That might happen.
Brought to you by Exxon Mobil and or whatever. Like, I just or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like it. The NFL they just want more money. I feel like it's only a matter of time before we start getting the corporate logos on the jerseys. They're like the last holdout of every other league has corporate sponsors on their jersey now, other than the NFL.
Yeah, I think they're also the most viewed, right? That's how they've been able to get away with it. Like the advertising on like the TV commercials and stuff makes so much in advertising that they don't have to, I think is
right.
The way I think it goes.
Yeah, for sure. But it's just one of those things where it's like you still have some old holdover people who feel like, well, I'm not going to have some company name on the Dallas Cowboys jersey. That's almost sacrilegious. But the next generation, when these old ass owners start dying, someone who's going to say no to more money? You know what I mean? It's like eventually someone's going to be like, yeah, do it. I don't care. That sounds great. So it's just like I think it's just a matter of time.
I'm sure there's a price for somebody like Jerry Jones to put a logo on a Dallas Cowboys
It'd have to
jersey.
be. I bet his son will do it.
Surprised the Broncos don't have Walmart on their
I know
stuff at this point.
It's just a matter of time, man. Great value Broncos.
Don't you dare! I will become a Seahawks fan full time at that point.
Well, hey, the Seahawks probably won't be. Seahawks will be like Amazon or something because we know that at some point they're going to be sold.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think so. We'll see.
Well, you asked me
Prime
if we could think of any sort of silver lining, and I can't think of anything that would guarantee anything good happening from it, because if we've learned anything at this point, it's that throwing more money at your company, specifically when it comes to creating good games, has zero effect on the outcome at all, and in some cases has made it worse because there's too much control over the creative people who actually make good games. Any great game that's come out recently has been developed by a team that was allowed to take their time and really put their own creative spin on things and not have to be controlled in that manner. All of the great games that you've played recently have been because of that, and has had very little to do with how much money was thrown at it. In fact, a lot of those have had pretty low budgets. So
yep. Yeah, it's all about creative, right? It's a creative endeavor, and it's either good or it's not, and it doesn't. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yep. Yeah, it's just sad. It's not like I'm not naive or surprised or shocked or saying that I'm going to take a stand. I'm not buying EA products anymore. It's like, I think what the okay, cool,
but I'll use my Google phone though.
Yeah. But the 10 other things that I've interacted with or consumed today have all been related to some horrible person and or entity. It's just stop. You just live off the grid. You have to live in a cabin and make everything yourself. That's like the only way that could happen.
Actually, I got to go get my Amazon package now.
Yeah, dude, word. I mean, like fuck Amazon, but they're like, yeah, fuck us. That'll be $14.99. Like, it doesn't.
What are we gonna do? I can't.
You're telling me you're not going to get your packages 2 days after buying it?
Yeah. And I don't have to go outside.
Yeah. It's a great service. It's a really good
stuck.
service. Yep. You just go ahead and go to space there, good old buddy Bezos. And we'll be down here ordering our little bags of socks being delivered. I only say that because I just ordered a bunch of fuzzy socks for Alicia and I.
Nice.
Nice.
Because my feet are cold all the time. So thanks, Jeff. Yeah. So interesting conversation. I'll be curious to follow that. Let's. I was thinking in my head earlier. I was like, let's talk about Xbox and me. There's so many. Alicia just walked in, freaking dogs out, and heard me.
You better not don't do a jingle around Al, man. She'll
don't do a jingle around Alicia. She'll start singing. That's what Kyle just said. Dear Kyle, fuck off. the most classic Alicia response.
She's the jingle meister over there.
Jingle Meister Cheesemonger. Yeah. Your title is growing. So much Xbox news. A little good, a lot interesting, and even more horrible. Let's start.
Episode.
Let's start.
Positive.
It's gonna be an upside down pyramid that we're gonna do here. Let's start with the horrible. Then we'll go to the mid, like the not sure,
down to the.
And then I have an Xbox sweater, like it's got the OG, like original Xbox writing on it. I have no idea what the fuck I did with it. It's around here somewhere, but I was gonna wear that today, just because of all these topics here. I am going to end on a small positive note, or at least not even really positive, but like slightly hopeful. So we'll get into that. But the big news is mostly just terrible. Game Pass. We discussed this a little bit, I think, 3 weeks ago, where we were saying, "Oh man, what would the price need to go up to say no?" And then Xbox is like, "Well, how about this
one?"
So Xbox raised the price of Game Pass Ultimate by 50% to $29.99 a month. But don't worry, guys. So here's what I didn't realize when I was upset about this. What I didn't know was that it includes some Fortnite stuff. So I was dead wrong the whole time. I'm switching back to Ultimate just to get all of that Fortnite goodness that they this is one of the worst decisions I've ever seen a company make. $30 a month for Game Pass Ultimate. What do we think? Taylor, start us off here.
Yeah, I think when we were having our conversation about this a couple weeks back, I think like as the news dropped, we had like a little bit of a back and forth kind of like in our group chat about this. And I think later on that day when I got home, I kind of looked at everything and assessed it, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if it's worth it for me anymore. At least it's not worth it anymore to be consistently subscribed to it. I think that in some realm, if there's a first party game or, quote unquote first party game that drops on the service day one, $30 is better than $70 even still. So maybe if there's something that comes out that I'm just like absolutely dying to play, it might be worth it to drop $30 on it for 1 month and then cancel it, and then maybe I can beat that game or within that time. But certainly not in the realm of like your $15 a month kind of thing that you can just sort of forget. And like if it comes out 1 month that you're not thinking about it, you're not going to be absolutely like kicking yourself that you missed it, right? Like with a lot of my subscriptions, like if they're kind of in that like $11 to maybe like $18 range, if it ends up, I look at my bank statement or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to cancel my World of Warcraft subscription. I haven't even been playing it for this month. So, okay, whatever. $15, like, I get enough play time to last me for another month or so. So if I really get the itch, I can get on and play it again. But yeah, at $30, there's no way I'm just gonna like set it and forget it, you know. So um, with this news, recently what I did was, because I'm kind of slowly in certain parts kind of distancing myself from Xbox. I think one of the things I finally did was invest in a new ecosystem, and I actually just bought a Steam Deck not too long ago.
Nice.
So I'm going to be getting that here probably on Friday, I think, and I bought the dock with it as well, so I can actually like put it on the big screen and like hook up my Xbox controller to it and play it on the big screen, which I'm really really excited about. And I think if you're gonna have an ecosystem like Xbox has now, where there's no more physical games and everything is sort of downloaded and in one consistent spot, I already have a Steam library that's accumulated way more games digitally than I have ever had on Xbox. So I think that that's just kind of where I'm going personally.
Yeah.
And yeah, if I want to engage with a particular game that comes out, maybe who's to say I drop the random, $30 here and there to play that game for like a month and see how much I like it. But yeah, overall, it's not really a brand I'm interacting with much these days, and don't see myself going back probably with any frequency in the future. So
Yeah, very fair, very fair. Kyle, how do you feel about this? We'll get into the other Xbox stuff here after this, but just kind of through the lens of the price increase and Game Pass and the ecosystem, how are you feeling? And just kind of what Taylor was talking about, like what's your attitude toward this company right now with this?
Pretty pissed, man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty pissed. This, I think we've obviously talked about it. The writing was on the wall. I think it was very obvious that this was bound to happen. I didn't think it would be this quick, but I think we saw it coming. What pisses me off about it, though, is just this comes off of the heels of multiple interviews over the last several years of, Game Pass is incredibly profitable, guys. Phil Spencer says it multiple times over and over. I'm looking at a quote right now that it takes up about 15% of the total revenue of the money that they're making. And that they reported to have made, what was it? I was just looking it up a second ago. $5 billion in revenue for the last fiscal year. So what is it, Xbox? Is it profitable or is it not? And when you're saying those messages, sure, you're not directly saying, hey, we're not going to increase the price, but it's insinuated when you're saying things like Xbox Game Pass is great where it's at right now. We're making a lot of money right now. So then when you, just a year later, after reporting such great revenue, say we're going to increase the price by 50%, that's such a slap in the face. And just based upon principle, even if it was affordable, I feel like I have to force myself to not pay for this, because you should not be running business that way. Period. You've set everybody up for a bunch of bullshit. Sorry for my language, but it's like you intentionally made all of this up. So it's either that you're not making that much money, or you are making a lot of money. You just wanted to turn it up a little bit, and by a lot.
Oh, that's what it always is. I mean, that's what it always will be. It's the complaints about EA from EA's stakeholders over the last 3 years is that they've only been making like $7.5 billion a year they haven't increased that, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
Right. So like that's what these tiny little group of people at the very top of our society, that's what they feel like. It's like, well, sure, yeah, that's a lot, but we need more. Mm-hmm. It just must expand at all times. There is no,
the line always has to go up.
It must go up always. So It's just that, and that's true for all these companies. It's just that Xbox is horrible about lying to us about it.
Yeah.
Like all the other companies will sort of like they'll do it in a way in which you're like, maybe you're skeptical if you're paying attention, but it's not. I mean, Xbox is just so, I mean, they contradict themselves constantly, and they don't actually seem to know what they're doing, and they don't seem to have any kind of plan. Like, being an Xbox fan has felt a lot like being a Star Wars fan since Disney bought it, where it's just like, they're just like, look, I don't know anything about this. I just got into this for the money. Like, I guess just take all this stuff, and I don't know if it's good, and I don't really care. Just buy it. And that's just kind of what it feels like, where it's just like an onslaught of horrible decisions by a bunch of people who don't know the brand and don't know how to sell services, and they don't know how to lie. And I'm not saying that it's a good thing, but at least Sony just shuts the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know, Sony doesn't say a word, and then they're like, okay, here's a game. And there's Sony's made all kinds of stupid mistakes. They've done so much awful stuff over the years, but it's like, it's just not this like public. You're going to always, you're going to remember the plane crash that you watched more than you're going to remember the plane crash you heard about that one time 20 years ago.
Right.
You're never going to forget the plane crash that you did right in front of your eyes, and like it was too bright to look at the explosion. I mean, that's what's happening with Xbox. It's so public and open. They're flailing. Their death flail is so obvious. It's like it's just painful to watch.
Yeah.
And I think that's what gets me. It's just like, look, I am already, I'm a mafia wife already, right? It's like I'm already abused, and I've made up something in my head as to why I deserve it, right? It's like I'm here. But we were just talking about all these companies. Like I shop at these fucking companies, and I pay monthly for all this shit, and I use Amazon, and I am a walking contradiction. So it's like I'm not even trying, but this is just like, what do you do? Are you trying?
Yeah.
To just go away? It just seems like you're just trying. Look, I'll take all kinds of stuff, but this is so crazy.
It blows my mind. It's like, what do you think if I were to ask you, what is the one major difference prior to this? What was the one major difference that Xbox, everybody can say Xbox had an advantage over PlayStation on? What was the one advantage they had?
Game Pass.
It was Game Pass. 100%.
Yeah. And just in general, like accessibility, right?
Yes.
All these different ways to interact with their ecosystem. You got,
and also diversity of games, maybe I would throw in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, and I think they finally ended up fixing their first party problem. Mm-hmm. They've published and released a bunch of great games. I mean, first party games are not an issue for Xbox anymore. Yeah. I mean, it hasn't been for a while.
That's the thing that kills me though too about their
third
party switches. Like they literally like just got to the point where they could make like good games and like have them be exclusive and be really good and compete, but
it's too late, right? It's just and the one thing I remember Phil Spencer saying in an interview long before any of this, right? This was back. I'm trying to think. It's like maybe when the Series X first came out, or right before it was a while ago. But I remember Phil Spencer talking about the fact that when they lost all of those people to PS4, that was the first time in kind of in the average gaming world, basic consumers, right? Just the people who only play. I'm not even saying this is bad. Like the Call of Duty, Fortnite, FIFA, NBA 2K, Madden players, like all of those people went to PS4 because the hardcore gamers went to PS4 from 360 because of how bad the Xbox One came out. And then everything got digital in that generation. And all these people bought their games digitally for library for their PlayStation 4. You are not getting those people back. Because now the change in the digital thing, I mean, now you could say, well, if I own all these physical games for PlayStation, what's the difference? But the difference is that the generations are not separated like that anymore. You can get your PS5, you can pretty much play almost any PS4 game that's digitally in your library,
right,
for the most part. Same with Xbox, right? I'm playing Alien Isolation right now on my Series X. The Series X isn't like, this is not right. It just plays it like as if it was made for it. Yeah. And so it's like these generations aren't divided like they used to be, and so there's more consumer like investment, and you don't want to leave that behind. It's the reason that I still primarily play on Xbox, because it's like I have so much money in this thing. Like I have such a massive library. I want to play these games, and this is where they are. So I'm here. God damn it. It sucks, but I'm not going anywhere. And that's the Sony has that. He was like, we'll never get back. We can't play their game and win, because it's just that they're gone. And he's right about that. That was like, back when he was like kind of saving the company, it seemed like. And so they had this idea.
We have to just blame Don Matrick. He was the one that really.
Well, it's gotten worse, of course. But like Game Pass, to your point, Kyle, was the difference in that you could, their ability to reach people was different from everyone else. It didn't necessarily, the idea of like not necessarily requiring a console. Like if you're a PC player, you like the idea of Game Pass, you can have Steam and have all your games there. You can also have PC Game Pass, and you'll interact with Xbox that way. Maybe you're a legacy person like me. Well, cool. Well, Game Pass can work as this sort of like digital library where you can just access all of your stuff from anywhere, anytime. Like, that's talking to the hardcore Xbox people. You can play on your console, you can play on your PC, pick up where you left off. Like this dream, this sort of digital dream, this idea is so cool. It's such a good idea. But they can't get it. They can't make it work because they just trip over themselves. And then once they've tripped over themselves, they're like falling down the hill. And like every time they reach for something, it just makes it worse. Like they got to grab a stick, but then the stick like flips over. They impale themselves on the stick. So now they're rolling down the hill and they've been stabbed, and like they keep like trying. It just keeps getting worse. And there's like they roll into a cougar, and the cougar is pissed off. So now it's like ripping them up. And like every time they just make they try to save themselves, they actually just make it worse.
Yeah.
And it's very frustrating to watch as someone who loves the brand so much.
Yeah. And the thing is too, you mentioned the accessibility being such a focal point. And the thing is you kind of throw that out the window when the accessibility is no longer affordable. Those have to go hand in hand. It can't be an expensive product, but also accessible. It needs to be affordable and accessible. Otherwise, it's useless to us. It's no longer accessible.
It's just an oxymoron. It's like
you can't have one without the other. I'm not going to pay $30 a month so that I can have the highest end of streaming. Why did you put a paywall behind that as well? That's another irritating part about this. It's like, well, you can still stream the games, but it's going to be really slow. So I wouldn't recommend it. You should probably pay for Ultimate.
Yeah, paying for these weird sort of digital gateways to be able to access things. I did not cancel my Game Pass. I reduced it to the middle one, the $14.99, and that just gives me like kind of that digital access to a bunch of the games that maybe I don't own them, and I use it enough to justify it. But they lost for me. It's like they're making less from me than they were when I was on Ultimate.
Yeah.
Which is funny because it's like I don't want a $30 Ultimate. It's not worth it.
Don't worry, you get access to all the Ubisoft as well.
Woo! That's right.
Sweet.
Yeah. I already own any of the Ubisoft games I want to play anyways. That's the other thing too, is like I like to buy games for the most part, and I still do, even with a cheaper Game Pass. A Game Pass is all mixed in now with like it, with the online capabilities and everything. It's just part of being and I like having the PC Game Pass combined with the Xbox Game Pass on the $14.99 a month is fine for me, because I can just keep that way. Any of the games that are at Play Anywhere, I can jump on here on my PC if I want to and pick up where I left off. Like that shit's so cool. I love that stuff. And it's just so frustrating that they can't seem to nail this vision and figure it out. So an addendum to this is sort of like, so we went from the horrible news. This is like the mid-level news. They launched their whole partnership, their first kind of product of their partnership with AMD and now with Asus and ROG Ally and all this. It's kind of like the ROG Ally X and S. It launched. It seemed like the reviews are mostly good. The negative reviews that I'm seeing are really just problems that all these handheld PCs have that aren't Steam Deck, which is just Windows. And I think they are working toward changing that, but it's not going to happen overnight. And maybe it was a little too early to drop this, feels like. But what do you guys, I mean, I know Taylor, you've distanced yourself pretty much from this ecosystem completely. What are your thoughts on the reviews that have come out for the Ally X and S, and just kind of like your thoughts on it being out as a product that you could potentially buy? I know that you won't, but just from a broader perspective.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looks like an incredible machine. I think that there's nothing to be, their hardware has never been anything to stoop your nose at. I feel like I got hands on with the original ROG Ally. Like I have a couple friends who have one, and it's a really, really awesome piece of tech. I just think that even the original one for when it came out was a little bit too expensive for my taste. I almost felt like with the amount of money I would have even spent on the original one, I would have probably saved up the extra couple $100 and just bought a PC, or upgraded the one I have to be like on the same level. And I think the same thing applies with this new ROG Ally X. I'm sure it's a really capable machine. I'm sure it runs things really well. And I'm sure like ergonomically probably fits really, really well in your hands. But yeah, I just couldn't really justify the price tag of it. I think that it's way too expensive for what it is. I think you probably would just be better off buying a PC or just upgrading the one that you have with the amount of money that you're spending on it. And recently, like I said, I bought a Steam Deck, so I just bought the baseline model that's like the $400 one that has, I think it's like 256 gigabytes of storage, and it has an LCD screen. But I am kind of planning on playing it almost like I would like the Nintendo Switch. Like I almost never played with my Switch in the handheld mode, like almost ever. I think like I probably played less than 10 hours on that thing on the handheld mode. So I'm really just kind of using it as a way to hook it up to my living room and play like a console like experience, while also maintaining the fact that you can get games for incredibly cheap on Steam. And there's a bunch of different storefronts that you can buy these games from and have it be really, really cost effective. So yeah, like I said, I'm sure it's a beautiful piece of tech, but too rich for my blood.
Yeah. How about you, Kyle? How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, it's pretty pricey. I'd be willing to pay for it. I need to see more about it. I'd be willing to pay for it if it is actually superior to the Steam Deck. Otherwise, we're doing Steam Deck.
Well, on a technical level, it's definitely superior, but that's not everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know that the feel of it will matter too, because I know that it feels like an Xbox controller in your hand, at least from the reviews that have come out about it. It is pretty pricey though, so it's just one of those things where, like, if I ever find myself in a spot where I can spend that extra cash, then I'll do it. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't really feel the necessity to do so. I mean, the only time I really think about that I would utilize that is if I'm like on a long road trip where I'm not driving, or like if I'm taking a long flight or something like that. And then occasionally, like if I'm in bed and like don't want to like commit fully to a game and just want to be lazy about it, that's where I'm like, a handheld would be nice.
Yeah, you can remote play on that too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, but
Xbox.
I was gonna say a big plus for it too would also be if you are doing the Game Pass thing. I think you can download the Xbox games natively onto the handheld, which is nice.
Yeah, you can.
Yes.
Steam Deck, you can play Xbox games and you can get Game Pass on it, but I think you can only stream it, as far as I know for right now. So you can't actually like physically download it onto your machine, which
Which you better have
I'm willing
Ultimate.
to make. Yeah, right.
Yeah, if you're gonna bother streaming it, for sure.
Yeah.
That's not something I've gotten into yet. So,
from what I saw, is a lot of the biggest complaints is just like kind of the startup stuff. And apparently it is like a computer handheld, and
yeah,
so you got to be prepared to do a lot of updating and downloading and just sitting there, for hours, apparently letting that thing do its thing before you're able to even actually play it, which is frustrating because when you think about a console like specifically made for gaming, it's like, why am I downloading all this extra stuff like a calculator and stuff like that? Was some of the things that I saw where it's like there needs to be other
crazy. I saw that too.
There needs to be other modes, like a gaming mode, to where it's like it's only going to specifically download what it needs in order to operate for what you're looking for. I don't need this thing to be a PC. I really don't.
Yeah, and it gets difficult to sort of separate what is on Xbox and Microsoft and what is just maybe just an issue with ROG allies generally, because that's something that's with the original ROG ally was a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
With the Lenovo Legion Go is a huge problem. All of those are just PCs with all of the issues. Windows and Microsoft seem to be incredibly determined to create a Steam OS competitor. It feels to me like they just jumped into this to try, like they like the idea. They know that they're like, okay, this is you can see the vision, but you're not there yet.
Yeah.
You haven't done this yet. So it's like this kind of ham-fisted, well, we've gotten Windows, we've been able to cut out, 2 gigs worth of RAM out of like this processing power by cutting all this shit out of Windows. And then you're seeing during the reviews, it's like there's still so much here. Yeah. So I love the idea of basically like an Xbox version of Windows that is designed specifically for gaming on this like dedicated handheld that is an Xbox controller between with a screen in the middle. All of that is great to me. I definitely would buy that. But it just feels to me it's like this is just I don't want to be the early adopter right now. Like,
yeah,
I feel like not only will the price eventually go down, maybe again I can't also really put the price on Microsoft either, because if Sony came out with something like this, it's going to be really similar too. PS6 is going to be incredibly expensive, and that has nothing to do with this. It's just it has everything to do with all that stuff is made in China, and it's insanely expensive to import anything from China right now. So
yeah,
tariffs.
So I mean it's $1,000, and I just keep seeing this online. I'm like, oh, okay, Xbox, like whatever. I'm like, well, I don't know what you're supposed to do with that. That's not on them. Like they're I mean, I guess that they could do their whole sell at a loss and go from there, but that's just not really a thing, especially with Game Pass, assuming that that's what people are going to be using it. If they're not buying games, it makes even less sense to sell a console or a handheld at a loss, because you're not selling software either. You're just getting a flat $30 a month for Ultimate from the consumer base that's most likely buying this right now. So they have to sell it at the very least at cost, if not with some margin, to even make it worthy. So I can't really hold that against them. It's very expensive, but for me, it's just like the experience. Like I just don't want to jump in right now at that price tag, along with all of the problems. It's like, get this Windows gaming, what do they call it? God, they can't name any, their nomenclature, full screen experience. whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah.
Like get that thing dialed in.
As opposed to what?
Well, it's like Steam OS, right? That's a cool fucking name. Steam operating system. It sounds cool. You understand what they're saying. They're making an operating system that's just going to fly and play games really well because it's not trying to be a computer. It's just trying to be a console.
Well, that's what I think. That's the other thing about this whole like ROG Ally situation too. Is this is a partnership, and it also feels like kind of a half measure because I think that Xbox put off releasing their own handheld themselves because of Windows. Like they were like, well, Windows isn't where it should be for like our own dedicated handheld. So let's make this kind of half measure partnership handheld console. We'll kind of see how it does, and then maybe we'll release our own dedicated one in the future once everything is said and done. But yeah, it feels like a lot of money to put down on something that's an experiment,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if that. I think they scrapped those plans now. So it's kind of like because they have their future with AMD now, and they're gonna release these. So that's the other thing.
I bet AMD would not want them to do that. If I'm guessing.
Yeah, it feels like a partnership. It just they're sort of backing off their own. They're backing off their own stuff, right? They don't want to make hardware anymore. I don't think it's never really been Microsoft's thing. That's why Xbox was so special. I feel like it's like this company that never did this, tried it out, it worked. They were risking things. They were pushing. As Mike McDonald might say, they were chasing edges. They were going after things. Not trying to copy everyone. They were trying new things and they were trying to be competitive and they were trying to bring something new to the scene and they did it, right? They definitely did it. It's definitely a success, but it's also just kind of always been antithetical to their corporate nature for Microsoft. And I feel like eventually if you're Microsoft, the only reason you exist is because you have the market. You've cornered the market. Everyone has freaking Windows, even whether they like it or not, right? Because we've seen that they can't really run anything very well. I mean, everyone hates Windows. Like everyone hates everything that Microsoft does. It was just a matter of time until Microsoft reined in their Maverick gaming corner over there that was doing all kinds of cool stuff. And they're like, hey, get back over here. And now they're ruining it, and they're stomping on it. And then it's like, look, just make AMD and Asus make our shit, okay? And we'll figure it out. Like, and that's just, but if Microsoft wants to stop and go, all right, we're going to invest in this full FSE, this full screen experience, this version of Windows, I feel like in the future, I'm very interested in that. I would love a handheld that was like an Xbox. Even I don't care if it's made by Xbox or not. It's still an Xbox product, and I think they're going to do that with consoles. So that's kind of the next thing, and it's the last thing. We'll close up the show on this. I think there were a lot of rumors after the horrible Game Pass debacle that they were also just pulling out of the console market altogether, completely. Because there's the stuff about Costco selling the last of their consoles at like 50% off to get rid of the stock because they keep raising the prices of their current stuff, their current consoles, because they're losing money on it. And they know they're not going to sell anymore anyways. They're like, here, you want a Series X in 2025? It'll cost you $800. Like whatever, it's like no one was buying it anyway. So we'll just crank it up and stop losing money on these sales. Like that's what they were doing before. But so the next thing. So Sarah Bond was being interviewed, and this comes from Windows Central. This is the last one here. And I find this to be very interesting. And we talked about this a few weeks ago. We were talking about what we thought Xbox would become. And what we were saying, our kind of guess was that our guess on it, this was like right after the ROG Ally X was announced. We knew it was going to be expensive. And it feels like Microsoft is fine with you leaving, right? Fine. Go. You just go buy our games on PlayStation. We don't care anymore, right? We're coming at this from a different angle. which sucks, right? Sucks as an Xbox fan to know that. But they also know that they do have a pretty good chunk of people, maybe not compared to PlayStation or Nintendo, but a good chunk. I mean, millions, tens of millions of people, millions upon millions of people like me who have bought every Xbox console, have a huge digital library, lots of investment. They are reluctant to just drop it. And so they want to continue to serve those people at a very high price, right? So it's like AMD, they're going to, for a quote from Sarah Bonds, a very premium, high-end, next-gen console experience. And I just feel like they're going to make something similar. It's going to be, maybe they'll have multiple versions of it. It'll basically be a PC, just like the ROG Ally is. And it's going to be super powerful. It's going to have the real nice, like, finished version of this, Xbox OS, this FSE. And it's going to integrate Steam, and it's going to integrate Epic, and it's going to have Xbox, and it's going to bring all your libraries together, and it's going to be this, like, they're just going to sell it. It's like, look, if you're an Xbox person and you're still here, you're going to pay a high price, but we'll give you a really cool experience that's like the final vision that they've been kind of stumbling around in the dark attempting to find, which is this sort of all-inclusive thing where you can, I mean, I foresee myself, I don't want to put my PC connected to my giant TV upstairs. That's not where my PC, I work at this desk. I write, I do my taxes at this desk. This is a desk. Like I do desk stuff at a desk. I don't want my PC connected to my TV. But if you give me this kind of hybrid, the power of a PC, the flexibility and ease and accessibility of a console running this special version of Windows that's connected to my TV, and I can have like a lap board with my wireless keyboard and mouse, and I can throw up Total War from Steam on my Xbox in my fucking living room. I am all about that idea. This was my silver lining that I was talking about. They'll fuck it up. I'm sure it won't be as good as I'm talking about. But like, I can dream, and I think that's a really cool idea, but it'll be at a really high price. I think that they're looking to sell to like top end. They're like Apple for gaming console. Like that's what I feel like that's what they're trying to be, even though that's kind of what Sony's trying to be. What do you guys think of this, Taylor? What do you think about them talking about making these premium consoles and staying in the console business in their own way?
Well, first off, I wanted to say that in your pitch there for the next console, I didn't hear enough TV. So I don't know if I'm necessarily interested. No.
Yeah, you're right. Have I got a console to sell you?
Right. But I think I'm still maybe in the same spot that I was when we first had this conversation several weeks back. Not something that it sounds like I would be interested in. I think it does sound like a really, really cool idea. Like, I don't want to downplay the fact that that picture that you're painting me sounds really cool, but it just doesn't sound like something that I would go for necessarily. But also, I'm still not even convinced that that's really gonna happen. Like, I think that, Sarah Bond can say all that she wants about the next console. I think Phil Spencer can say all that he wants about what the next console is. I'm still not even convinced that it's going to happen, even at like an extremely niche, bring in all the whales to pay $1,500 for this thing price tag. Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of at the point now where I think that, in my opinion, I feel like the writing is kind of on the wall, and Xbox is kind of going the way of the dodo. And I think Microsoft is really the, what it'll end up being. And it probably won't go under the banner of a Microsoft gaming per se, but that's essentially what it will be in everything but name. And, I'm still not convinced that it's going to happen, but I think it sounds like a cool idea. Maybe I might be interested. Who knows? But just I don't know. Not much left for me to say about it. Unfortunately, it sounds like it would still be too expensive for me, even at that
It'll be stupid
even in that dream world scenario. So
it'll be really, really expensive. I mean, they're certainly not trying to win the hearts and minds over here. It doesn't seem like.
Yeah.
Kyle, how do you feel about that idea and what Xbox is saying about that future?
What I think they're saying, I'll just say that I don't believe anything they're saying at this point.
Yeah,
but my thing is this. So it's hard for me to imagine what it would take for me to pay for this. Okay, and the only scenario where I would, if they're wanting to get into the PC game, is if they actually create a top of the line PC that is done by Xbox and has the accessibility of Xbox, but does not lose out on the power of the PC. Because then I'll buy it. Because if it is actually a competitive PC that pricing wise is competitive with other PCs, because let's be honest, PCs are already really expensive.
Yeah, I mean, GPU costs as much as a current Xbox. It costs more than it would cost to buy a console at the time.
Yeah, so if you can compete in the PC world, in the PC market, then yeah, I'll buy it because you'll now be my new upgraded PC. But if you don't compete with these PCs, I'm going to end up buying a better PC at some point, and then I'm not going to know what would be the use of buying this console at that point, because you're trying to be a PC, but you haven't successfully done so, and I already have the PC that I want. So you're kind of shit out of luck at that point. So that's my concern with it, is like, if you're gonna dive into this PC game, you better bring it. And I don't trust them to know what they're doing with that at that point. So it's a big risk if they pull it off.
What if it plays League of Legends really, really well?
I mean, everything plays League of Legends really well. It's such a like an easy game to run. They've updated it and it's gotten a little bit more difficult, but yeah, I mean, it's not hard to do that. And there's probably going to be some perks that come with it, because Xbox has been, has had some sort of partnership with Riot in creating benefits and programs that like can get you free skins and stuff like that. That part's great, but not really a selling point for me. My thing is, if you're going to do a PC, make sure it's a PC that I would actually buy rather than just getting the PC that I want, because otherwise I have no use for this product at all. So hopefully they do it. If I don't have a whole lot of faith in it, but if they do it, great. I can still keep my Xbox, and then I will also have the PC that I wanted to upgrade to.
Yeah, that for me, like the talk about whether or not you're gonna upgrade your PC, I think for me, what I want out of all of that is like because what I have found is that despite having a very powerful PC here that I paid good money for, I find that I do not get my money's worth out of this PC. Not because there's anything wrong with the computer. It's fucking awesome. And when I do use it, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tied to this desk, and I still have to do all this fucking driver updates, and this doesn't work, or I got to change this, and I got to go change all the settings, and this doesn't work, and it's not optimized, it's DLSS and blah, just like all this. It's like the idea for me, and again, I agree with you guys. Can they execute? Probably not. Just based on recent experience, probably not. But the idea of giving me all the things I always want from a PC, it's the reason I continue to spend money on PCs despite not using it enough. You're giving me all of that, and I, along with all the things I love about the console at the time, and I don't, because a lot of the reasons like I don't play stuff that's mostly on PC is just because it's like I don't want to go downstairs in that room by myself and just sit there in the corner and disappear. Like I want to be upstairs. I want to be on the couch with my dogs, and with Alicia can do her thing, or she can, hang with me and watch what we're playing, or we can switch to it. It's just like, it's about, for me, it's about the actual physical experience. and the ease of use. And if that actually happens, if they actually figure out a way to make the vision that I'm kind of dreaming about real, then I will pay good money for that. I agree with you guys. I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they'll be able to do it. Something's going to go wrong. That's why I'm interested in watching the Ally X and how it evolves over the next year. See how they do with this software, right? The OS operating system, this gaming version. They seem very dedicated to making that happen because that's going to make them money if they can figure that out. And at that point, I'll be more sold if the Ally X is this killer machine in a year's time because they've really gotten their version of SteamOS like down and it's really good. That would be kind of the thing for me. Like, okay, maybe they will do it. If in a year we're still talking about how awful the experience is, and Windows they're not saying anything about it. There's not, the updates are breaking it, and it's not working, and there's still all these problems. It's like then they can't even make it work on this handheld that they didn't even have to make themselves. How are they going to do it making a console, right? So it's just kind of about this next year or so, seeing how they do, seeing what mistakes they make, or if they actually make some better decisions. It's a very interesting time to be alive with all of this technology and these terrible companies and just failing. They just fail forward, right? They suck, but there's no one that can compete with them, and they'll just make so much money they can just keep sucking and be fine.
I know we're running out of time, but I do wonder, if this flops, right? This big powerful PC, I mean, is that the end?
Yeah, I mean, it's the end of Xbox. I think Microsoft, they're not getting out of gaming.
No,
right?
No.
They'll be publishing games.
I feel like if this doesn't work for Xbox, it's like
it's over.
You can't hop out of the console game and then come back.
Right.
Which is essentially what they're doing. I mean, it's still kind of a console, but it's like they're definitely merging with PC. And if this doesn't work, it's like I just don't know what else they do at this point.
Yeah, I want to see. I'm just sort of like, I'm not out all the way. I'm not bought in. I just feel like I'm kind of in this in this speculative, like, all right, let's just show me what you got. In the meantime, I'm not buying this stuff because I have so many games to play as it is. I really want to start focusing more on my going backwards. I have so many games behind me, and as I'm getting older, I have a little bit less of the FOMO happening. I do want to play new. So I will drop. For Witcher 4 comes out, doesn't matter what the fuck else is going on. I'm playing that. There's games out there. Oh, yeah. But like for the most part, I'm kind of slowing down, and I'm trying to save a little money and be a little smarter. I'm a tech guy. I love buying new tech. It's fun. I'm just into it. I like fiddling with that stuff and having the newest thing and trying it and having a new experience. So there's a part of me that always wants to get that next thing, but I'm okay with holding off for a while, letting it bake. I want to see how they do. And if they figure something out and they can turn it around, cool. I'll be right there. I'm not jumping off. I'm just sort of like in this weird holding. I feel like I'm in a holding pattern. Like, all right, I'm just going to do my thing over here. I'm going to play my games. I'll keep playing on my Xbox and my PlayStation and just kind of wait and see. And it's up to them to convince me that they're back on the horse and able to do this. Because right now, it doesn't feel like they can.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
Any final thoughts, gentlemen, today about anything we discussed or anything you forgot to bring up or something you thought about before we sign off for the evening?
I was going to say one thing earlier. I'm interested to see, in the situation where Xbox does kind of go away, at least in terms of like a hardware sense or being up there with PlayStation. I'm curious if that is the end of other entities kind of getting into the console space to compete with PlayStation. Like, I wonder if that is truly like the end, and like we just have PlayStation and that's it. Because I think it would personally be kind of an interesting one thing. I'd be really interested to see if there's another company that like enters that race and kind of gets
Valve?
into it. Yeah, I was thinking Valve, like maybe rises to be the American, developer to maybe compete. Who knows?
It does kind of open up a spot, doesn't it? That's a good way to think of it. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I mean,
or God forbid they get purchased, like Valve gets purchased by
by the Saudis,
Xbox.
By the Saudis.
Or I was thinking Xbox and becomes their hardware.
Oh no!
Initiative, like.
Yeah, well, yeah, it would be interesting. God, can you imagine Xbox buying Valve?
Buying Steam too? That would be absolutely nuts, dude.
I just don't think. I feel like Valve and Steam are just too. I don't know. Gabe Newell doesn't strike me as someone who's like, I'm done.
No, they've stuck to their guns for a really long time. They're still a privately owned company too, despite how profitable they are and how much more profitable they could be if they went public. So I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see who maybe rises to that spot, if not Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, first it was Sega. And Sega, that's the difference, I think, between Xbox. And I think that's the Microsoft difference, is like Sega failed. I mean, Sega, I mean, they face planted and they were like, oh, it's not that we don't want to. It's that we're out of money and we're going to die. Like, whereas Xbox is sort of like self-inflicted wounds because their parent is Microsoft, and that's just what Microsoft does. It's like, they just suck. But it's like, at the end of the day, Xbox dying is just sort of like, it's sort of Microsoft being like, okay, we're just back to Windows gaming.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
I don't know that Xbox is going to disappear, because I think it's a little bit, I think they've made it that one extra step where it's like, I mean, what are you going to, you're going to shut it all down?
Yeah.
They're a failure and they make a ton of money. It's a weird, it's not like this is some like, it's not like
I don't
Sega.
either. I don't think they necessarily go away forever.
They just, I just don't think they're just trying. I think they've been trying to evolve and sort of change the game a little bit, because they know that they lost the console game, and the console game is going to change too, right? So they're trying to, the idea of being this digital platform that's super accessible is kind of like a way to get around all the tariff problems as well. It's like, look, you don't even need an Xbox. You don't have to buy this stuff that we have to bring in from China. Like, you can just get on your TV that you already bought years ago from China before the tariffs and just play on that, right? Like, it feels like, I get it. I understand what you're trying to do. It's just, you're just so bad at it. So it's really interesting. We'll have to check back in a few months when we do our next news episode. I like doing these from time to time. It's fun to just kind of check in and hear you guys' thoughts on everything going on in our world. We'll be back to a topic-based subject matter for next week. So keep your eyes peeled for a prompt. We'll be excited to see some write-ins next week. I don't think I'm gonna be able to beat Alien Isolation to do an experience point by next week, but we will see. Maybe we can surprise ourselves. So I'll try. Kyle, yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna throw in an extra day. I've been thinking about it. So I've got some stuff, some video editing that I need to do tomorrow. But Friday and Saturday night, I'll pick up streaming Alien Isolation, so that'll be on twitch.tv/residualblum. Friday night I'll probably start at 7. I just need time to eat, and then Saturday we'll just do the normal 8 o'clock start on that. So that way I can, I want to get after it a little bit more, get a little further along. Maybe we don't do Halloween, but whatever. I still want to get some more time in, and
yeah, and it'll be fall. It'll be dark. It's November. Yeah. It's all part of the same. It'll be great. It's still topical. Alien is it's timeless.
Yeah.
And
I'll be playing some of the Radio Silence's new album. So if you want to hear some of that music,
thanks.
Go take a listen.
Thanks, guys. What a interesting week. I hope next week we're all feeling good. We've all found our routines. We've been playing games and having a good time. That's we'll come up with a cool topic, and we're excited about that. I'm excited to be back. Thank you both for being here, and thank you all for listening and interacting. And I love how active our Discord is. So thank you to everyone in there who's always chatting and just being. It kind of feels like we're making a little community, which is cool.
Absolutely.
So we're really excited about that, and we'll do our best to continue to foster that and keep the show going. So we love you guys, and thank you. Have a wonderful and safe weekend, and we will catch you all later.
See you guys.
Later, guys.